Hey cosmic friends, it is Monday, the day of the week that is ruled by the moon, and also the day of the week that we do our week ahead astro forecast. So if you're new here, I'm Sarah Nicole. This is Twisted Goddess Tarot with your astro forecast for the week of February 28th. My goal in bringing this to you every week is to help you navigate the cosmic energies with greater awareness. So with that being said, this week we are going to be looking at February 28th through March 6th. This week really feels like, okay, first I want to chat about this. Last week was the week of sextiles. We had so many sextiles happening last week, and we chatted last week about the fact that sextiles create opportunities and give us opportunities for growth. This week is the week of conjunctions, okay? So a conjunction is an astrological aspect where two planets meet up at the same degree of the same zodiac sign in the sky. So this week is a week of conjunctions, and conjunctions are activations. Conjunctions are is an aspect of empowerment. Okay. And so this week very much feels like an activation week, which I really love because it is falling in, it's falling right in line with the new moon. So we have the Pisces New Moon happening this week that we are going to chat a little bit more in depth about. We also have, it's the first week of a new month. So we're kicking off a new month, activating a new month at the same time as we're having that Pisces New Moon, activating newness, at the same time as we're having a whole bunch of conjunctions happening this week, and we're going to talk about each one, which is that activation. So the first thing that I do want to mention about March is, first of all, welcome in. Welcome to March. This week we are walking into March, the only month of the entire year, the only month of 2022 that we have 0 planets in retrograde during the entirety of the month. So I know that for a little bit of February, we've had that no planets retrograde, that forward momentum energy, but we did start out February with some retrogrades happening. And then April, we're going to have a period of time with no retrogrades, but we're going to end the month of April with retrogrades happening. So March is the only month of the entire year that from the beginning to the end, there is not a single retrograde planet in the sky. That means that all planets are doing a forward motion, a forward momentum. And that means that this month is very much going to have a forward momentum to it, which is also the month that we typically associate with spring, which is the month that we associate, new growth, planting seeds, starting to grow, starting that forward momentum energy. So I like this. One thing that I have heard being spoken about and that I agree with is don't blink during this month. Okay. You know how sometimes periods of time can feel like they're extending forever. Sometimes you go back and you think about a month and you think that month felt like it was 3 months long, and then sometimes you'll have a month where it felt like, how did this month fly by already? I think that March is going to be one of those months where if you blink, you might miss it. Okay, because of the fact that cosmically, we have so much of that forward momentum happening. We have so much forward movement pushing forward. And so I do feel like you might feel that affect your perception of time in a sense. And we might feel like, oh my gosh, this month has just flown by. Okay, so that is exciting about month. Now let's start talking about this Pisces new moon. I love Pisces energy. I love new moon energy. New moon is my very favorite moon phase, right? I know that the full moon gets a whole lot of hype. People talk about the full moon so much, but if you have tuned into multiples of the astro forecast, you will know that for me personally, the new moon is my favorite moon phase because new moons are a fresh start. There is this pure potential energy with the new moon. The themes of a new moon are new beginnings, openness, hope, right? It feels like a second chance. And I like second chances. I like second chances. So it does feel like that. It's a time to set the intention that you are going to be working towards during this lunar cycle. So stay tuned. We're not going to go too in depth about the intentions and where the new moon is happening in your chart. I'm going to do a separate video putting up being able to green screen. I can't green screen on live. So I'm going to do a separate video green screening the zodiac wheel and allowing you to find where your rising sign is and allowing you to find what house or what area of your life the new moon is going to be happening in based on your personal birth chart. And that's going to help you to set your intention and set an intention surrounding something that the universe or that the cosmic energies are supporting. So I'll probably get that posted for you tomorrow. But since this is happening in the sign of Pisces, no matter what your intention is, no matter what area of your life you're going to be working with for this moon cycle, we're going to want to be staying more in the spiritual realm and less in the material realm. So even if, for instance, this is your money manifestation new moon of the year, because if it is, that would be happening in your second house, which details your finances, your money, your physical abundance. So even if it was your money manifesting new moon of the year and you're saying, but Sarah, you're telling me to stay in the spiritual realm rather than the material realm, you can still manifest abundance, material abundance, with a spiritual side to it, with a spiritual aspect to it, especially if you're manifesting for the ability to help or you see what I'm saying? So we can still apply the themes of Pisces. We can still apply a spiritual basis even to financial abundance, right? Even to more of the 3D material world, we can still add a deeper layer to it. And that's what this new moon is going to ask us to do. No matter what your intention is, it's going to ask you to make sure there is a spiritual basis, a spiritual motivation to whatever it is that you're going to be setting your intention to manifest or to work towards. So be mindful of idealism is one thing that I'm going to say with this new moon, is because Pisces can take us out of reality a little bit. Okay. It is really beautiful to dream. It's beautiful to dream, and it's beautiful to dream of like a better world, but we have to be careful when we start dreaming about, perfect worlds. Okay. And that's going to be the lesson of this new moon. And there's also going to be the lesson that dreaming of it only goes so far, right? Where's the action behind it? If I spend my time dreaming of this better world, but not coming in and taking the action, then it's just going to stay in the dreams. It's just going to stay in the subconscious. It's not ever going to come into physical reality. And so this moon phase, this moon cycle, starting in Pisces with the new moon in Pisces, is really going to teach us that, what you're dreaming, we're going to have to take some actions to bring it into the world. Okay. And that's a lesson of the first quarter moon as well. So we'll get to really act on that lesson a week from the new moon when the first quarter moon phase comes around. So I will say, set your intention, make sure it has a spiritual backing or a spiritual basis behind it. And then also make sure that it's something that is attainable. Okay. Because with this Pisces new moon, we can sometimes get that, wild hair to set this magical intention that perhaps isn't really attainable. And then we get disillusioned at the end of the month when that doesn't come to fruition. Okay. So Pisces is also linked to the subconscious mind, the places where secrets are kept. So this new moon could have you facing some of your shadows. It's really crucial to remember that you don't have to fix everything. Sometimes just sitting with and just facing the darkness is the healing that you need. You're going to have plenty of time. You're going to have plenty of time during the waxing moon phase to act and to fix. Okay? So during the new moon, simply observe, simply be. Okay? Jupiter is also going to be sitting with this new moon. And as we have spoken about here on the Astro forecast, I like to call Jupiter the clear quartz of planets. Since clear quartz is an amplifier, Jupiter is also an amplifier. Okay, so it intensifies whatever it touches. Now, this energy of Jupiter amplifying the Pisces new moon, this really has the feeling that it can go one of two ways. So be sure and check in with yourself and check in and honor how this is affecting you, and don't try to make it affect you one way or the other. Just honor the fact that it could go one of two ways. The first way that this Jupiter amplifying the Pisces new moon could go is that, Jupiter could bring this burst of optimism to this new moon, making you feel so hopeful, making you feel that true, pure potential, that hope, that new beginning energy of the new moon, and it could amplify that energy. But be careful, because this could also increase the idealism that we chatted about earlier, okay? Or the second way that Jupiter amplifying this Pisces new moon could go is that Jupiter could amplify your emotional and your spiritual sensitivity, making you more sensitive during this time. Sensitivity is not a bad word, but sometimes we do have to honor it when we are in a heightened sensitivity. Sometimes maybe we do need to spend a little bit more time alone. Sometimes maybe we do need to be a little bit more careful about what we're watching on TV, what news we're taking in, who we're talking to, what people we're around. Sometimes we just have to take a little bit more care in our energy protection when we are more emotionally and spiritually sensitive. So it's not a negative thing. It just takes some working with, right? And some acknowledging and some honoring. So during this time, during the time of the new moon, we also have, I'm going to be honest with you, this week, I'm not really going to talk too much about specific days, because this whole week really holds this energy that we're going to be talking about. This whole week is going to be holding that new moon energy. Typically, we talk about new moons, the energy of a new moon happening the day of, the day before, and the day after. We typically speak about it on a 3-day time span. Wednesday is the new moon. So typically we would say we're going to feel it on Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. But with Jupiter coming in and amplifying the new moon, and with what we're about to talk about with this Venus, Mars, Pluto action that's going to be happening later in the week, it feels like the energy of this new moon is going to expand the entire week. That's what it feels like to me. So I'm not going to talk too much about like specific dates this week, because this week's energy, this week's astro forecast is really just like an all over energy of the whole week that we're going to be feeling. So during the new moon, we also have this Venus, Mars, and Pluto all in alignment. Remember, I told you that this week is the week of conjunctions, and that conjunctions are activations and empowerment aspects. Now, we already talked about the Jupiter and the new moon conjunction. Now we're going to speak to this Venus, Mars, and Pluto conjunction. They're all going to be in alignment. So while this new moon is happening in Pisces, Venus, Mars, and Pluto are all going to be lined up in the sky together over in Capricorn. So we've been working with this Venus energy. We've been working with this Mars energy a lot already in February. Now, Pluto is going to come in, and we're going to be looking at power with Pluto. We're going to be looking at transformation with Pluto. We're going to be looking at power struggles. We're going to be looking with personal power. okay? Now, with this alignment here, we might need to focus on our relationships. We might need to focus on the word power in general, personal power, power struggles in our life, in our relationships. So with Venus and Pluto, let's talk about just this for a second. Let's take Mars out of it and just talk about this. Let's take Mars out of it and just talk about this Venus Pluto conjunction. Venus being the planet of love, beauty, Pluto being the planet of transformation. So Venus has lined up with Pluto 3 times over the last few months because of Venus's retrograde. Pluto is a very slow moving planet because it's the furthest out in our solar system. And so it takes a very long time to make its way around the zodiac. So while Venus is a quicker moving planet, has been zipping around in her retrograde, going forward, moving backwards, going forward again, she has been zipping past Pluto a couple times. And each time she does that, she's meeting up with Pluto and they're having this conjunction where we're looking at empowering and activating these two energies. So this alignment that we're going to be having this week on March 3rd is going to be the final of these alignments between Venus and Pluto. So having this happen 3 times in a row is a little bit more rare. So that's why we're going to kind of pay a little bit more attention to the Venus and the Pluto rather than the Pluto and the Mars. So like I said, Pluto represents power. Venus represents our relationships, love, what we value, harmony, all of those things, and our relationship dynamics, okay? Not just the dynamics with other people, not just love relationships at whole, and also the relationship with yourself, also the relationship with spirit, higher power, God, whatever you want to call it. So if you are, for instance, not in a romantic relationship, I don't want you to think, oh, this doesn't apply to me, because it does. It does. So if you have noticed maybe any power struggles, any dynamics that need to change, this is really activating and empowering you to make this change, and is coming right as Venus leaves her post-shadow retrograde period, okay? So what is a post-shadow retrograde period? Pre-shadow, so just before a planet goes into retrograde, it's moving along the zodiac, and the pre-shadow is the space of the zodiac, the space of the sky that the planet is going to move through while it's in retrograde. It's going to move back through that while it's in retrograde. And then the post shadow is when it's moving forward again, but it's retracing its retrograde path, if you will. I love post shadow periods because what it does is we've been through that same space of the track. If we're thinking about race cars, there's this little space of the track here of the whole circle. We've been through this space of the track 3 times now, during the pre-shadow, during the retrograde, and now during the post-shadow. So that means we're getting very familiar with this spot of the track. We're being able to go back and readjust and realign and make improvements and correct any mistakes that we've made. So like I said, how the new moon is my favorite moon phase because I like second chances, I like new beginnings. I also love retrograde because how often do I get a chance to go back over the same lesson multiple times to make sure that I've got it right? So that's what the post-shadow period is. And this one is Venus post-shadow period. Venus retrograde post-shadow period. That is ending this week. So I don't know about you guys, but I have been having a lot of dreams regarding past relationships. And you know, so my spirit guides have been saying, hey, we got some lessons here to go back over and to learn and to make sure we've got it right. I heard one of my friends on TikTok said that her dreams have just been a parade of X's. And that was happening to her during actually Venus retrograde. For me, it's been happening post-shadow period, specifically the last few days of post-shadow period. So if that's been happening to you as well, you're not crazy. It's just your subconscious way of saying, hey, let's reevaluate some of these behaviors. Let's reevaluate some of these dynamics. Let's reevaluate some of these relationships, right? And find out maybe what went wrong, what needs to be addressed, what needs to be changed moving forward. So if you've been having a parade of X's in your sleeping hours as well, welcome to the club. Hello. So yes, Venus is leaving her post-shadow period. So and then Stephanie said none of that, thankfully. Yeah. I thought I was safe from it too. And then the last couple days it's been like, so Venus leaving her post-shadow period, and now she's teaming up with Pluto. Pluto's coming in to really give us that power that we need, the power of transformation, to be able to take the lessons that we've learned over Venus retrograde and over Venus retrograde's post-shadow period, and then say, okay, let's take some action on those. Right? Remember, we're looking at power. We're looking at dynamics. Now, a lot of people that you speak to might just say, oh, what relationships do you need to let go of? But it's not just about what relationships we need to let go of. For some of us, we may find that there's a wholesale relationship that needs to go, right? Like just wholesale, that whole entire relationship needs to go. Again, remember, we're speaking to not just romantic relationships. We're speaking to relationships across the board. But for most of us, it's going to be more like relationship dynamics, okay, that need to go. I can get rid of a relationship dynamic and keep a relationship. I hope that makes sense. So I don't want you to think, oh my gosh, I'm going to have to break up with somebody, or I'm going to have to end. Some of us might, but that's going to be a smaller scale. Most of us are just going to need to pick out certain things that we do in relationships, certain ways that we operate in relationships, certain relationship dynamics need to be addressed, changed, released, okay? And then, the universe gives us exactly what we need to do this. For some of us, when we need to address some of those relationship dynamics, and then again, remember, we're speaking relationship to ourself as well. Are there relationship dynamics with yourself that need to be released, right? Some of the ways you speak to yourself, some of the ways that you treat yourself, where you put yourself on your priority list. Okay, so remember, we're speaking to all relationships. And the universe gives us exactly what we need. So we're being pushed to make this happen. We're being pushed to make those changes this week. And then some of us the universe knew, right, that some of us simply are not in our inner lioness, okay, enough to set boundaries, make changes, eliminate some of the negative patterns and negative dynamics. And so do you know what the universe did for us? The universe said, okay, then around that same time, I'm going to give you a Sun and Jupiter conjunction. Sun being the center of the solar system, relating to your solar plexus, which is the center of your body, which relates to your confidence, right? Your inner lion, your inner lioness, because the sun is ruled by Leo, okay? And then remember, conjunction is empowerment, is activating. And then Jupiter is amplifying. So the universe is saying, okay, then we're going to give you a day of activated and amplified confidence, right? So that you have the ability to stand up for yourself, so that you have the ability to make some of these changes, so that you have the ability to address some of these dynamics that we're seeing needs to change, okay? The sun represents the core, who we are at our core. It's our essence, it's our being, right? And so with Jupiter coming in next to it, this is really going to be a beautiful time of confidence, of optimism, of self-discovery, of healing. One of Jupiter's gifts, because Jupiter is very linked to Sagittarius. So one of Jupiter's gifts is being able to see the big picture, okay? Is being able to get up above it, get up above your life on this day. Get up above your life and look at your life and all the relationships in it, not neglecting the relationship with yourself from a bird's eye view. Okay. And look at it. If I was watching a movie, if I was watching my life and the relationships in my life like a movie, and I was watching it on TV, what would I say to that character? What would I say to me as a TV show character? Would I be saying, girl, get rid of that person? Oh, girl, you better talk to yourself better. What would I be saying to the TV if I was watching my life as a movie, if I was the main character? This is going to allow you to kind of get above it. See it from the big picture. See it like you're watching a movie. Give yourself advice, okay? As if you were giving a main character of a show advice. And then to end the week off on Sunday, to end the week off, we are going to be having the final Venus and Mars conjunction. Okay, we've been speaking about this a lot. We had that Venus and Mars conjunction last around the 222, right? Around that time, in between the 22 and 222 portal. I think it was on the 16th. I don't remember exactly, but we had that conjunction where we were being called to balance the yin and the yang. We were being called to balance the masculine and the feminine within us. We are being called to balance the active and the receptive. We're being called to look at, am I utilizing more of my Venus energy, more of my yin, more of my feminine, more of my receptive energy, or am I utilizing more of my Mars energy, more of the yang, more of the masculine, more of the active energy? Do I need to balance the two? Okay. Remembering that when I say feminine and masculine energy, I am speaking about energy. I'm not speaking about like genders or anything like that. I'm speaking about just the energy, right? I can identify as a woman, but be heavy on my Mars energy and using a lot of that Mars energy. Okay. But we're wanting them to be balanced. We're wanting them to be equal, right? That is what we're moving towards. That is what our goal is. And so this is giving us that last chance to really come in and to balance those two. They've been moving together through the skies since middle of February. And this is going to be really the last time that they're exactly conjunct together. And at this time, they're going to both move into Aquarius. Okay, so at the end of the week, Venus is moving into Aquarius. Mars is moving into Aquarius. When Venus moves into Aquarius, we're valuing freedom a little bit more. We're valuing generosity a little bit more. Our heart gets a little bit bigger. We're drawn more to helping. We're drawn more to supporting. We're drawn more to lifting people up. And then when Mars enters into Aquarius, remember Mars is the planet of action. It's also the planet of war. It's the planet of aggression. It's the planet of anger. And so when Mars comes into Aquarius, the motivation is more about helping people. It's more about a collective. We're willing to stand up and fight, but only if it benefits the collective. So I'm excited about Venus and Mars moving into Aquarius. I'm hoping that it's my hope that when Venus and Mars settle into Aquarius, that it cools down some of the tension on a more global collective level. Okay. That's my hope. That's what I'm holding out for that. All right, so sacred self-care card of the week is to write a gratitude list. We got this last week and we're getting it again this week. The affirmation is I am grateful. I am grateful. Okay, so practicing gratitude allows us to shift back to the present moment. And it allows us to recognize how, you know, life really is divinely ordered, right? This world really is divinely ordered. So writing your gratitude list this week, remembering to repeat what you're grateful for this week. And then I also like to pull from the Tarot of Transformation. This week, 2 cards came out, the 5 of Cups and the 6 of Swords. This is such a beautiful story, okay? Because the 5 of Cups typically represents loss, okay? Something that we've lost. We've lost something. The lesson with the 5 of Cups tells us that a lot of times what we lose is to make room for something better. And then the 6 of Swords speaks about a transition. It speaks about a journey. And on the traditional tarot, we see a person in a boat moving, you know, going from this rocky water to calmer waters. And she can only bring so much with her, right? She can only carry so much in that boat. She can't take all her baggage with her. And so this message really tells the story that sometimes something is removed from our life, or we lose something because the universe has our boat ticket, even though we don't know it yet. And the universe knows that we can't take everything with us to the next chapter. Okay? We just don't know that yet. So that's the story that's going on here with the tarot that's coming out. So if things are kind of removed from your life, just hold on to that big picture of the fact that, you know what, maybe my guides are just making room on the boat. Maybe my guides are just making room on the boat. Okay? Because if I try to take everything on the boat with me, I'm going to sink. I'm going to sink. So that is the energy this week. Jessica said this resonates. I'm balancing my feminine. I'm really trying to nurture it. Yeah, Jessica, I'm the same. I'm totally the same. All right. So what I like to do, what I've been liking to do, for those of you who are joining me for the live, so you have to be on live, is I've been kind of pulling just some cards for the week. So drop a heart in the comment if you would like me to pull you a card. I'm going to pull one card. It's kind of give you just like a personal theme of the week. And of course, not everybody is going to get one, but I'm going to try to get a few. And then I'll try to, you know, if you join next week, usually the Astro forecast starts at noon on Mondays. Today it was at 1 because I took a slow morning. Sometimes you just need a slow morning. All right, Allison. Allison, you have the Hierophant. Of course you do, my fellow Hierophant, my fellow Life Path 5 number. And I think this is beautiful because this is the reminder of where are we going, where are we heading, especially these steps here. We're heading up, we're heading more towards the spiritual realm. And so I think this is beautiful, speaking to that Pisces New Moon energy, and speaking to the fact that, you know, we really do want to make sure that we're setting our intentions this week on something that has a spiritual basis. It's okay to manifest something material. It's okay to manifest something in the 3D world as long as there's a spiritual backing, a spiritual motivation for that. I don't think you have any difficulty with that, but sometimes we need the reminder. Sometimes we also need the reminder that at all times we are simultaneously the teacher and the student. At all times. All right, that is for Allison. Jessica. Yes, I know. When I saw the Hierophant, I loved it. I loved it. I loved it. I loved it. All right, Jessica, you have the moon in the reverse. Okay, the moon in the reverse. So with the moon coming out during a Pisces new moon, and then you're getting this moon in the reverse, Sometimes when we see the moon in the reverse, we can speak to not listening to our intuition. We can speak to the fact that we have to start looking at that a little bit more. We have to start trusting our intuition, sometimes over our logical brain a little bit more. It's interesting that you already were talking about how you needed to nurture the feminine energy a little bit more. And now your guides are saying, okay, well, this is the first place you can start nurturing that feminine energy a little bit more, is by trusting the intuition over the logical mind, because the intuitive mind is the feminine and then the logical mind is more of the masculine. And so this is the first way that you can start addressing that and start kind of trying to find that balance. All right, Camille. Camille, you've got the Two of Swords, my love. All right, so when the Two of Swords shows up, we can see that we're going through a little bit of a mental conflict. We're trying to decide which way do I go. It feels like we're being pulled this direction. Feels like we're being pulled this direction. Feels like we're not so sure which way to go. This is a reminder that the choices that you make in your life, while yes, they should be compassionate choices, and while yes, they should be for the greater good, at the end of the day, they should be your choices. And they should be made for you, and it should fall in line with what do you want to do. Not what other people think is best for you, not what the other birds in your life are trying to pull you this way, this way, this way. It should be for you. So when you have choices this week, remember that at the end of the day, your choices should make you happy. All right, Deb. Deb. Whoop. Deb, Five of Cups, right in line with the Five of Cups that was pulled for the collective for the week. So remember, we already talked about this energy a little bit, Deb, and about how a lot of times when we lose something, it's because we're making room for something better. We're making room for something bigger. Sit with yourself this week. I know that you already said that you hope that March goes by quickly, because it's a difficult, it's a difficult month for you. And so I think this is just speaking to this. And I think that was just your guides coming in and saying, we're holding you during a time that maybe you're going through loss, during a time that you're remembering loss. Okay. And so that was just your guides acknowledging that. And that was your guides acknowledging that they're holding you during this time. And reminding you that things are removed to make room for better. All right, Stephanie. Stephanie. Hey, Strong Neve. We just got done with the Astro forecast, and I just pull a couple cards for some people that were live during the Astro forecast. Not everybody gets one. I just kind of pull a couple at the end of it, and so we're doing that right now. Stephanie, you have the Page of Cups. So I love this because this really resonates with the Pisces New Moon energy, because the Page of Cups is new opportunities. Pages are new beginnings, new opportunities, or just potential, right? Pure potential. And then Cups is the water, right? The emotional realm, the emotional and spiritual realm. And so Pisces is a water sign. So this feels like, Page feels like new moon. Cups feels like the water, the Pisces. So this really feels like a Pisces new moon. And it also speaks to the fact to not get you know, this speaks to that idealism factor. I don't know if you were on when we talked about that Pisces new moon, but if you weren't, you might want to go back and kind of rewatch the Pisces new moon talk about how we're talking about idealism and how, you know, it's beautiful to hope for better days, and it's beautiful to hold the vision, you know, but to be careful about wanting things to be perfect. Okay, because here we see that this pigs fly, right? And we also see where, you know, we're not grounded. Okay. So this is a reminder for you to also practice grounding during this time. And just to allow your heart to remain open to new opportunities, especially with Venus leaving this post-shadow period, because, you know, it feels like we're moving forward now. And so you might have some new opportunities coming in the realm of the emotional world. Who did I miss? Who did I miss? Pearl. Pearl, you've got the 9 of Cups. Oh, I love this. 9 of Cups is the wish card. 9 of Cups is the wish card. Okay? So this is speaking about wishes coming true. This is speaking about emotional fulfillment. This is really speaking about personal fulfillment. So when we talked a lot about relationship dynamics, and remember how I mentioned that we're talking about the relationship to yourself as well, this is important here. Okay? For you, the relationship to yourself is going to be the one that we're really going to be looking at this week. Oh, Crystal, I'm just pulling some cards for some people at the end of the live Astro forecast. I started doing this a couple weeks ago. Not everybody's going to get one. It's just kind of incentive for joining me live and holding this container live with me. So I just do a few at the end. All right, we did 6. That feels like a really good number. Okay. So if you join the live Astro forecast on Mondays, I'll pull some cards at the end. Just free card pulls, just a few. And then I'll try to kind of shake it up of who I do each week. So like if you got one this week, I'll try to get some other people next week, and so on and so forth. So thank you all so much for joining me live for the Astro forecast. I love doing these, and I love that you all love them as much as I do. You know, we're influenced by the planetary alignment. We're influenced by the cosmic energies, whether we know it or not. The beautiful thing is that when you know it and you're aware of it, you can be a co-creator with the cosmic energies, okay? If I'm not aware of it, they're still affecting me, but I am not co-creating with. Once I am aware, now I'm co-creating. Now I'm harnessing. Now I know what to be able to look out for. Now I know what actions are being asked of me from the universe. Okay? All right, loves. I'll see you next week.